Hello students, this is Dr. Faizan Mirza. We are discussing types of muscles here. Muscles can broadly be classified into three categories. We have either skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle or smooth muscles. Skeletal muscles are the muscles which are attached to the bones through your tendons, and these are the muscles that actually enable you to move your body around and move your joints and your bones and perform the function of locomotion. These muscles exist as a skeletal muscle fiber in the smallest unit. The skeletal muscles do not exist as single cells. So there are multiple cells joined together, which you can see here as many nuclei, which are having individual cells fused together. This is like one skeletal muscle fiber. This is another skeletal muscle fiber. This is another skeletal muscle fiber, and you can see that there are many nuclei on its surface. This entire arrangement is called as a multinucleate syncytium. Your skeletal muscles, they are in voluntary control and they are in neurogenic control, which means your nervous system initiates an impulse which actually ends up controlling the contraction and relaxation of your skeletal muscle fibers, which again then bring about, in turn, which brings about locomotion. The cardiac muscles. The cardiac muscles exist as single cells joined together. This is not a multinucleate syncytium. You can see that individual cells are separated by cell membrane, and the membrane that separates the two individual cells is called as the intercalated disc. You can see that the cells are forming branches as well. A single cell branches. At time this cell is also branching. So there are branchings here and intercalated disc as well. These allow synchronized contraction to occur. Synchronized contraction means that, for example, if one portion of the atria starts to contract, the entire atrial chamber will go in contraction together. Similarly, if a single part of ventricle starts to contract, the entire ventricular region will start to undergo contraction. The cardiac muscles are under myogenic control, which means they generate their own electrical rhythm, which you can recall that for the function of SA node and AV node. The smooth muscles. The smooth muscles are those muscles which are present in your hollow organs, for example, your digestive tract, your respiratory tract, your reproductive tract, your blood vessels. The wall is made up of these smooth muscles. These smooth muscles are spindle-shaped cells. The spindle shape means they are wider in the center and they get narrower towards the edges. They have individual nucleus as well, so they exist as single cells which are fitted into each other. You can say in the fashion similar to the jigsaw pieces. These smooth muscles, they are in your neurogenic control. So it means that the nervous system initiates impulses which ends up controlling your smooth muscles. The muscles, for example, discussing here the skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle and smooth muscle. Skeletal muscle is under voluntary control. Cardiac and smooth muscles are involuntary, which means you cannot control these muscles according to your will. When we see the details of these three muscles under a light microscope, so we see that basically, okay, so another thing here, the skeletal muscles can also be called as striated muscles. Striated means stripes. So the type of muscles become striated, which means skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle and smooth muscles. When you view them under the light microscope, the stripes are very well visible for the skeletal muscles at regular intervals. The stripes are again visible at regular intervals for the cardiac muscles, but for smooth muscles there are no stripes or no striations. Coming to cell structure. The striated muscle, the skeletal muscle, is a multinucleate syncytium. The cardiac muscles are uninucleate. Uninucleate means single nucleus with single cell. Joined by intercalated disc, already discussed with you, and uninucleate cells for smooth muscle cells as well. The shape of cells for these striatal skeletal muscles, although they don't exist as single cell, they exist as muscle fibers. These are long unbranched cylinders. Here their cells are they are shorter with branches that connect the adjacent cells. In the smooth muscle, the cells are long unbranched cells that taper at either end, spindle shape as I mentioned. What about distribution in the body? Already discussed. These are attached to the skeleton. These are in the heart. These are in the tubular structures, the hollow organs. The control is neurogenic, myogenic, and neurogenic. Already discussed. Now, what the feature that needs to be discussed here is myofibrils. So, myofibrils are the contractile proteins which are present inside the muscle. Now, how are those contractile proteins present? So, the organization of the contractile protein in the muscle, these contractile proteins are the proteins that allow the muscle to contract. So, for the skeletal muscle, the contractile proteins are arranged into parallel bundles, and these parallel bundles of contractile proteins are called myofibrils. For cardiac muscles, again they are organized into parallel bundles of myofibrils. The contractile proteins in both of these, they are present in myofibrils. What are myofibrils? Myofibrils are simple contractile proteins arranged in parallel bundles. What about smooth muscle? In smooth muscle, the contractile proteins are not organized into myofibrils. So that's the basic description of these muscles. Thank you. I'm not going further in this video further. That's it from my side.